Well, we started the season at this venue, the World Center of Racing, and we're going to end the regular season at the same location. It's under the lights for their last race, week number 23, and live here from Daytona. Will it be another multi-time winner? Will we see Jeremy Burns find his 10th win? Will he go for double digits? Or do we have a new name in victory lane here tonight? Live from Daytona on V-Speed, it's the Chapman Cup Series. Oh boy, I gotta tell you, it's one of those special races here presented by Racing Revolution, but Alex Gagnon, Bradley Cooper all season long. Can you think of a better place to end?
You really can. I mean, this is the place you want to be. I mean, this is one of those nights where it's like much like the season opener. When you're a kid, you know, if you're playing, football in the backyard, you dream of, the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, or if you're playing baseball, the home run in the World Series. If you're a kid and your dream is racing, you dream of winning here at Daytona at the World Center of Racing. To end the regular season here, one last opportunity to try to make that postseason push if you haven't already, or one more opportunity to try to pad out that advantage going into the last 10 races of the year. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and if you look at the points, there's a lot of drivers that are big dreams. We've got a lot of people here that have to win to get in. Pretty much everybody from 19th place on down to 25th. Justin Ritchie is in 25th position. He will be one of those drivers that has to get a victory in order to get into this playoff picture, but there's been 10 different winners. We can add our 11th, and if that happens, these guys hovering around the 15th to 18th position might have no chance at all.
Yeah, and even if there is a repeat winner here tonight, I mean, it's far from said and done. Really, 5 drivers competing for those last 3 spots if there is a repeat winner. A lot on the line here tonight for guys like Orlando Robinson, Caleb Gilbert, Trevor Keith, Justice Murphy, and anyone below him who needs the win and get in.
Absolutely. And then we talk about the stellar regular season that the 9 of Jeremy Burns has had, but we're going to reset all of that. So he'll only have about a 3 or 4 point advantage if Travis Gilbert doesn't get another victory here tonight. And so that's another reset. You have all that success, but now you get down to that playoff time, you absolutely have to do your best.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't slack off just because you've had a great regular season. Got to string together the whole year. And it starts here, with one more test before the playoffs officially begin. This is the opportunity to really try to get your season going in the right direction.
And last week, Michael Reed adding his name to the list of drivers with his first victory of the season, and he is the 10th place driver in this playoff format. Race analysis up on your screen. 80 laps here tonight. Pit road speed limit 60 miles per hour. It's one of the easier pit roads to get on and off of. 5 tire sets available. 2 green-white checkered attempts. The stage, well, a little typo though. The Satage lap at lap 18.
The French stage.
Yeah, the French stage, and 50% fuel as always on the iRacing's fixed setup. Dougie Beard providing cameras here tonight, but it's time to take you trackside and get the grid up on your screen. And starting on the pole with that Coastal Financial Pole Award, it's going to be the number 77 of Grant Thorpe, putting up that best time. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Rest of the driver is going to show up on your screen, and actually we need to show the grid, not the ticker. Let's try this again. 50.224 of Dakota Floyd to the outside. Floyd pointed his way in. He should be good to go. Jeremy Burns, 9 wins this season, trying to make it double digits. He'll start in row number 2 with Alex Forget Berube. Then we have Travis Gilbert and Matt Robinson for row number 3. Kevin Orlando Jr., he's one of those guys outside of that mark. Dylan Picklesheimer, start to his outside. Rounding out your top 10, Tyler Harrison, Daniel Holloway, and the 21.
Last week's winner, Michael Reed, rolls off 11th. Parker Johnston there in row 6. Row number 7 will be Carter Lind alongside Nick Alves in the 24. Going back to Kyle Stewart and Trevor Keith. Both drivers need a win here tonight in row 8. Trevor Erhardt should be good on points alongside Caleb Gilbert tonight in row 9. John Fike and Grant Turner will round out your top 20 in the starting grid.
We're going to pull off that pace car, but Rob Rader, Michael Call back here as we get set to go from Daytona, the final race of the regular season. Here we go, live under the lights. It's the world's center of racing. Here we go on V-Speed. Lap number 1 from the outside. It's Dakota Floyd in the 57. The high line working well so far as they come across for lap number 2. Alex Forget on that inside, or right on his back bumper. It's actually the 77 of Grant Thorpe, who's down 4 positions now. Dylan Picklesheimer. Looks like the inside not working so far.
Yeah, they did not really get linked up together good on that first lap. Now Forget going to drop down to the bottom, try to lead that lane. Does not have a ton of support, though. Thorpe was way far back, so Floyd's going to have the advantage briefly in 3 and 4. Now that inside group getting stacked up. Thorpe, Burns, and Travis Gilbert all getting lined up off of turn 4. They're going to shove that 19 out in front. Alex Forget going to be your leader coming across the line this time by. But much with how we see things at Daytona lately, that could change in the blink of an eye as Dakota Floyd and Matt Robinson with a good shove to get back up into the mix.
And you're watching Grant Thorpe give the shove to the 19 of Forget. Alex Forget definitely having a good season, but would love to get another victory. Gets pushed down on the backstretch. 19 falling through the field.
Yeah, just trying to find a place to safely merge back in. I don't know if that was the safest place to merge in, but he certainly made it work. Unfortunately for him, though, I think he's going to be losing this draft.
Yeah.
Which is going to be, I mean, he's just lucky that they still have a stage scheduled early on here, because this is the loneliest place in the world to be inside a Cup car. It is not on the draft pack at a super speed. Oh, big wreck in turn 1. Kyle Stewart hard into the wall.
53, Rob Rader getting a piece of it at the end. Great save, but caution comes out in the 10 car, facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, my out of the corner of my eye, as we were talking a little bit there about Forget, I just saw the 10 get turned up into the outside fence. Take a look here, Kyle Stewart, that green number 10. He's going to end up high, and I think it's because the 39, I believe that might be who that was, turned down, and boy, oh boy, I mean, that's not clear. Heavy damage to Grant Turner's machine as well. Both of these guys, drivers who desperately needed the win to get in here tonight.
39 car looks destroyed. No fast repairs here tonight. No fast repairs all season long, but yeah, not clear. Just turned down into him. I don't know if he got help. Did he get pushed into that car?
I don't know. It looks like he's got a lot of room on the back bumper. I think he just thought he may have been clear. Take one more look at it here.
He just drifted down the track into him.
Yeah, I don't even think he was trying to change lanes. I think he just lost track of where he was on the racetrack. I mean, I don't even think there could have been an opportunity for the iRacing spotter to say he was clear there. They were basically door to door. Significant damage there for Grant Turner. That was a lot of sparks coming out of the back of that car.
And as that caution fell, Dylan Picklesheimer had the lead. So the 35 will be the command car with Matt Robinson. And they no longer do the choose here. So this is new information to me, Alex. They went back and they talked about it through all the season long. iRacing had some changes there. It made it difficult for them to actually clear those flags and get everything back to normal. So they stopped doing the choose cone about 7 weeks ago. So that was new information to me, Alex. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, likewise here. Luckily, Daytona is one of those places not super critical unless you're trying to get lined up with a certain teammate. But also there's a lot of ways to find each other out on the racetrack here with how closely everyone runs together. So shouldn't be too much of a change from when we were here back in February. Or the couple times we were here in February, actually. I believe we also had the duels here as well. So right now, Dylan Picklesheimer out front in that 35 machine. The body armor car looking in good shape so far, and Picklesheimer, one of those drivers who needs a win tonight to try to make the postseason. Obviously very early, but the safest place to be more times than not at Daytona when cars start wrecking is being the guy in front.
As we go through this field, there's a lot of drivers that, a win in your end situation is almost a guarantee. And we also got to notice here, there's a driver not on this racetrack that doesn't want to just win every single week. And I'd say the guy that's came the closest is Trevor Keith. He's known about this situation. He's been worried about it. And with Michael Reed getting that win last week, it made it even harder for him to get his way into the points without a victory.
It really did. He is technically, only 8 points or 9 points back of 3 different cars in front of him right now. Unfortunately for him, those are the 3 cars who hold those positions as the last spots in. One of those being the car directly in front of him right now, Kevin Orlando Jr. So the 15, we had talked about it a couple times because he had been flirting with that cut line a good bit of the back half of the regular season after a really tough start to the year. And then nearly picked up a win in Chicago. That one fell through his grasp. Has led laps in multiple races over the past month and just has not been able to close one out, and now still finds himself with an uphill battle here on the last race of the regular season calendar. But you could say that for a couple of these guys. I mean, Kevin Orlando Jr., the car right in front of him, that 27 machine has had some crazy bad luck the past couple of weeks, and he continues to grind out good finishes despite, that car missing pieces or getting caught up in other incidents week after week. And it's given himself a chance here to try to point his way in. He currently sits 14th of the 16, but he is only 1 point ahead of 15th and 16th. So
it's tight.
Yeah, and right? It certainly is. And you got to wonder, what these drivers are feeling in moments like this, because Daytona is such a wild card. But you also have to probably, or at least if I was in the car, I'd be keeping loose tabs on who's around me. All right, I need to make sure I finish ahead of that guy, or this person can't finish more than 2 spots ahead of me. These stage points are going to be all the more critical as well, because that could completely change it with how tight it is at the cut line right now. Lot to talk about tonight as far as the points are concerned.
I might be corrected again here. I don't know what you're seeing, but I think they have a fast repair in here. No way that Grant Turner got that car repaired.
Yep, they are. Now that I'm looking at it, they are listed with 1 fast repair tonight. So, we are a crisp, 0 for 2 now on our.
Yeah, on the sat edge,
yeah,
the satage.
So.
Sometimes you throw things together. Sometimes it's cobbled together, just like my house.
A lot of 2x4 lying around right now.
Yeah. Here we go for our second start of the day. Dylan Picklesheimer going to be the command car. Matt Robinson to the outside. Floyd, Thorpe, Holloway. Green flag back underway. Well, it looks like a pretty big jump here on the inside this time, as contrary to the last restart, you had the outside line get going, but I don't like how Matt Robinson is pulling out so far ahead of Dakota Floyd. I think he'll meet up here with the 77. Does he try to go to the outside? No, he doesn't. They're thinking about it. There goes the 21.
Holloway, Holloway makes the move to the high side here. Going to try to find something up high. Currently battling with Dakota Floyd for that third spot. Picklesheimer with a bumper full of Matt Robinson at the moment as they come off of turn 4. Outside lane, I think, running tighter together, but there's less of them at the moment compared to that snake that is running the inside lane by the yellow line. They continue to kind of shimmy around, but there's a lot more support there off of 4. Now it's evened out a little bit. Travis Gilbert going to shove Daniel Holloway to the lead here. 21 now with the advantage. Is he going to stay high or is he going to drop down?
I think he's going to stay up there. He's got the 22 behind him, and we know from previous experience, Travis Gilbert is the guy you want pushing you. Remember back to week 1, it was Travis Gilbert who pushed multiple different drivers to the lead in that race. He is absolutely a great pusher.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that.
On the outside, you can see that 27 sneaking up, Alex.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's got himself all the way to 4th. Here is now Travis Gilbert going to dive it down to the apron to clear the 21. Now the 22 back out front. He's got 3 wins this season. He's looking to make it 4 here tonight to get ready come playoff time. Try to even the scales a little bit with Jeremy Byrne going into the races to follow. You know, there's a lot of hungry cars directly behind him. Holloway, Orlando, Picklesheimer, Robinson, all guys flirting with that cut line, trying to find their way in. So I don't think the 22 should be too trusting of anyone behind him. It's now Picklesheimer going to step out, going to the high side, and they're going to be door-to-door at the stripe.
This brings to mind one of my most favorite quotes. If winning were easy, even losers would do it. And that's what it is right now, is you got a lot of guys that are up here that need a victory, and only one of them can get it.
And that really is just, I mean, that's the case with any race, but I think that's really highlighted tonight with how dire it is for so many cars in the field to try to find that, you know, the magic ticket to try to make their way into a potential championship run here. You know, for better or for worse. When you run this kind of system, all it takes is one race to make something happen. It's right now this third lane falling back with a rock. That's Orlando Jr. and Jeremy Burns, who are falling the wrong direction here.
Had Grant Turner up there for just a second, but yeah, there was Jeremy Burns on the outside, and man, is it a pinch there just in front of Burns.
And Orlando going to slide back down to that middle lane after that. A lot of sparks getting kicked up here in front of them. A lot of cars clipping bottoms of the racetrack, hitting each other as well. I mean, it's getting a little intense there in the mid-pack. A lot of cars starting to throw their weight around or start to lean on each other a little bit. Is Michael Call going to go 3 wide? The 89 up high. He's got no support up there, though.
And look at the front splitters of all of these cars coming through 3 and 4. Sparks everywhere as we're 4 wide, and there it is. Another crash on lap 13. And somehow we're staying green. I think that's the 23 in the background, who's destroying Christopher Schaefer. Parks it down off the apron. How did we stay green there, Alex?
I haven't the foggiest idea. I honestly disagree with that. I think that should have been a yellow. Take another look here at the replay as they coming down here. I want to keep an eye on that 23 of Christopher Schaefer. They come to the trial, they're spinning through. I mean, huge wrecks into the wall there. I want to say that may have been Forget who also got caught up in a good bit of it. Same with maybe the 12 of Justice Murphy behind him. Off the nose of Orlando, yeah. Kyle Stewart gets clipped in it a little bit as well. Yeah, I don't know how that stayed green. Personally, I would disagree with that call from iRacing, but you know, iRacing said, all right, well, I guess everyone's by. So there you go.
Look what this did for Kevin Orlando, Jeremy Burns. These guys are like 6 seconds back now from the field because of that.
Yeah, and they're going to have a really tough time here. Luckily for them, the stage is scheduled for about 3 laps from now. So they'll have the opportunity to kind of come down pit road, get re-bunched up with everybody. But could have been significantly worse. I mean, some of those cars, Christopher Schaefer especially, took some heavy damage So I think it's 3 to go to the stage after now on this lap as Picklesheimer just hammers the back bumper of Holloway in the one.
What a shove there from the 35 of Picklesheimer on the back of Holloway. The Candyman has the lead down the backstretch. 21 gets the shove inside line, is very organized. There's some shuffling. There's the 15 we were talking about earlier of Trevor Keith making some moves.
Keith there to the inside. He's following Carter Linz. The 15 now up to 10th. There's a little bit of Michael Reed to his outside. There's TK on his onboard.
Just look a little nervous there with the 57 pinching him down. 3 laps to go in stage 1. He needs these stage points. He needs to get 3 more spots.
Yeah, I can't say I blame the nerves, though. I mean, they are really starting to not be cutting each other a lot of slack, knowing that those stage points are on the line. And I'm looking at this top 10, could be huge.
Wow.
Oh, boy, someone nearly got shuffled on the line. I think it actually was Trevor Keith. You could see the panic on the onboard. He did a nice job keeping it off the wall.
He was going to go work with the 66 of Carter Lenz, and then the 54 of Gilbert moved up in front of him. So a lot happened in that exact moment. These guys all trying to work the outside. We got some block in the 12 there, moved up to the middle line to stop that momentum. And the 45 of Harrison, who needs to have a good day. He's pointing his way in here, but he can't afford an incident.
Yeah, and you're looking at this now. Here comes Travis Gilbert to the high side, and he's got Matt Robinson hot on his heels. Robinson would definitely love the points that comes the stage win here. One of those guys on the cut line. Travis Gilbert, though, trying to add those points for the postseason. Is the 11 going to dive down now?
It might be too soon. I don't know if it's going to work like that. They need to go one more lap, one more time around here, and we're going to look 3 wide. How about that?
And here we go. Robinson down low, Travis Gilbert up high. Holloway and Justice Murphy in that row behind him. Yeah, that back group continues to lose time, but luckily they will be bailed out by the stages. Picklesheimer nearly chopped the nose off of Gilbert there. Here they go down the back straightaway, everyone chasing Matt Robinson.
15 falls back there, and he's outside of that top 10. It's Matt Robinson, Daniel Holloway pushing on the inside. 35 of Picklesheimer with a big shove from Gilbert on the high line. I told you it might have been too soon. Here comes the 12. High line, 3 wide. Across the line, it's Matt Robinson. Barely, and the caution comes out right at the line as they hit the stage.
Erhardt, Caleb Gilbert, John Fike, all a part of it.
And I think it scores here as Robinson. We need to go back real quick and clarify that.
Yeah, I'm writing down the results from that now. It looks all shuffled up, but I'm going to pull what it was, I think. We'll take a look here. Look at this replay. I think by 7,000ths of a second here, Matt Robinson going to win the stage. Stage points being awarded as well to Picklesheimer, Holloway, the 22 of Travis Gilbert, the 12 of Justice Murphy picks up 6 very critical stage points. Michael Bennett, Tyler Harrison, Michael Call, Trevor Keith picks up a couple. He's going to get across the line 9th here with that late lunge to the outside.
I'm trying to find
Trevor Erhardt gets the last stage point. As you see just how close it was going to the stage, man. Daytona's wild.
There it is right there. So we can confirm as we go back to our live shot that Matt Robinson is the stage winner. And the 11 car needed that.
Absolutely. And he'll be leading the field down pit road. Other cut line cars who got some very needed points there. The 12 of Justice Murphy with a big 6 points in that stage. Trevor Keith also picking up a handful as well. Picklesheimer got a lot of points, but he's too far back to point his way in at this point. He needs to go for that race win, but it's good to know that 35's got a lot of speed under the hood here early.
So down off the jack, the 11 down and away, 21 follows suit. It was an eventful first stage. We saw some incidents, not anything huge. We still have about 3/4 of this race left, so it's not over at all. But congratulations, Matt Robinson, on stage 1 victory. We'll have about 57, 56 laps left in this race when we come back. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series live from Daytona, the last race of the regular season in the Hot Wheels 200. More on V-Speed. Stage 2, right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for...
Back here live for what seems like the fastest 18 laps that we've seen here on V-Speed. But Matt Robinson going to be the command car for this restart. Stage 2 of the last race of the regular season. The 11 car going to try to hold on to that lead. But if we know best here, Alex, we're going to see at least 10 to 15 more lead changes before this thing's over.
Yeah, and I would say that might be at a minimum, depending on how well they get stacked up. But a good jump here for the inside line. Robinson, Murphy, and Fike really pulling out to a healthy advantage here. He's got Johnston and Floyd with him. That's 5 cars who are breaking away on the inside, separate of that outside groove. Daniel Holloway falling way back here. He's battling for 6th with Bennett, just trying to hold on to it. He's got Harrison helping him now, but they lost a lot of ground in this opening lap off the restart.
And that'll happen until that momentum builds. Seems like the last 2 restarts, the inside has worked better. With that command car, if Murphy, goes with the 11, it's going to work. But he moves to the outside now. He's going to have the 21 and Daniel Holloway on the back bumper as they go. into 1 and 2. Murphy's going to take the lead by about half a tenth of a second, and they clear.
Right now, Justice Murphy with the advantage. Robinson, or now Holloway, going to try to give him a push here through 3 and 4. So the 12 now in that lead position. That black and neon, all about Bugs Ford. See Tyler Harrison. He's got Trevor Keith trying to push him forward on the outside. And the 12 looking really good so far, up from 23rd to lead his first lap of the night.
We've talked a lot about must-win situations. Would you categorize the 12 of Murphy in that book, or would you put him as a guy that can point his way in? I think the last that we talked about it, Murphy was okay as long as he had a decent finish.
He was above the cut line, he was below the cut line coming in, was the 12. He made up a good bit of ground during that stage, although he still needs to do some work here to close that gap up more. Cut it down from about 19 points to the cut line to about 13. And right now, keeping himself in that top 5, keeping himself in contention. However, he cannot afford to have what's happening right now, which is Trevor Keith now to the point at Daytona. The 15, the other driver we've really been keeping our eye on, who could potentially point their way in, has the lead here right now. And he's got a mirror full of Nick Alves shoving him down the back straightaway.
The inside kind of fell apart there, though, and big surge on the outside line. Here's Joe Gioia with Justin Ritchie. Where did Ritchie come from? Remember, he was involved in that last incident just before stage 1 break in the 7 car. This looks like shades of last Saturday, where the 41 of Cole Custer and the 12 of Blaney just pushed from 12th up to the lead on the last lap.
Yeah, they just absolutely launched their way to the front. Oh, and Ritchie's going to get down there. Gioia was able to close the door on him. I thought the 55 was going to beat him to the punch for a second. But now Joe Gioia going to lead here in this number 7 machine. Justin Ritchie going to close up on the back bumper. They got Trevor Keith and Nick Alves pushing him down the backstretch here. Michael Call trying to lead that outside lane at the moment. They're about 4 cars back of race leader. That's the 7 of Joe Gioia.
Falls apart a little bit, but it comes and goes here at Daytona. And every time we come to this racetrack, I feel like my references, because it's poor timing, we're getting to the peak of hurricane season, and I always make a reference to the eye of the storm as it kind of collapses and resizes. It feels like it's going to the next category every single time a lap ticks away.
Yeah, the wind speeds are certainly picking up, and the intensity of the pack is certainly picking up as well.
And it's poor for you, Alex.
Yeah, it's tough for me as someone who will be directly in the path of said hurricane whenever it does show up. But, you know, we'll deal with that when it arrives. That's not even an if. I'm going to say when, because I feel pretty confident we're going to get at least one. But right now, we're on board with Kevin Orlando Jr., who's currently rocking and rolling in that 6th spot, pushing Michael Call on the outside lane at the moment. The 27 looks to be in decent shape on points, especially with where he's running. But he can't afford to have a new winner here, which Joe Gioia certainly would be.
Yes, Joe Gioia would be outside of that playoff eligibility, but also in a scenario where if you get a victory, you might keep some of these other guys out. So go ahead, mix it up. I know that there's some drivers that they just favor certain racetracks, and Joe Gioia absolutely loves Talladega and Daytona. One of the racetracks that he will absolutely be up towards the front. It's been unkind to him, though, this year. He's had some strings of top 5s at these tracks, but recently he's not finished.
Right now, he's putting himself in the best place you can be in the middle of the race, which is up front and away from where all the intensity is really going. Although, I'll be honest, it looks like here now, everyone has kind of settled in for a moment, kind of found their place in the racing groove to settle in, and they're trying to just get in position here. And this is that part of super speedway racing where the energy calms down just a hair and you actually have a second to think, okay, where am I running? How much fuel am I burning? What moves can I make to cut forward? Where we'll see some moves happen, but it's not just a all out, I need to get to the front. You can actually take a second and kind of plan out the route here. So you see a lot of cars weaving in traffic, and those cars deeper back are saving a lot more fuel than the race leader, Joe Joya, or even Michael Call, who's leading this outside lane, would be saving right now. So if they keep this up and we need some green flag pit stops, the 7 and the 89 will be the first two in trouble.
When it goes back to 50% fuel, these race cars probably only going to turn. As we had some turbulence there on the outside, Michael Call gets moved up the racetrack. Here comes the 27 of Orlando Jr. and the 53. Your four-time champion, Rob Rader. 89, a Call left out to dry.
Yeah, he got shuffled way out there. The 89 just trying to find a way to get back into line here. So he loses all this track position. He's going to cut his way back in front of Richardson. Ended up back up with a pickle sign, but he fell well back to almost the 20th position. And I know just before that we were about to start talking fuel numbers there, Bradley. With how drastic the throttle differences are depending on where you are in line. We've seen drivers run out of fuel leading 15 laps in a row, and that's burned up everything. And we've seen some folks tucked into the middle of these lines who have half-throttled it enough where they're able to stretch, say, 21, 22 laps in a pinch. So it is a wide range. However, with those guys coming down and stopping at lap 19 from the lap 18 stage, got to imagine we're going to see some takers in the next 5 to 10 laps.
And Orlando is going to lead a lap this time by 27 car. First lap led tonight. 53 of Rob Rader got close to it. Not getting much help, though, from Joe Joya on that inside line. Joya about half a car length back there as they cross the stripe. 53, if they want that inside to work, he needs that push.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he does not seem to be getting it right now as Orlando continues to open up that gap to Rob Rader. Got Travis Gilbert back behind him, and 22, we saw him pull that move earlier. The moment you go in the corner entry, dive down to that inside lane, take away the lead spot down there, and use that momentum to carry you to the front, as he'll make the pass, and he will be coming around the leader this time by.
The fifth lap led now for Travis Gilbert. 53 of Rob Rader thought he was going to get that lead. And Joe Joya falls back. He led a couple laps, actually had 6 laps led with the help there behind. But it's changed. The inside to outside line, it's shuffled around a lot here. And Kevin Orlando with a big shove from last week's winner, Michael Reed.
Orlando's going to hold on to it. He's going to hold on to that lead, but Michael Reed is knocking down the back bumper of the 27 right now. You know he'd love to pick up win number 2 on the year, go back-to-back to end the regular season. What a boost of momentum that would be going into playoff time for the 91 after his incredible victory last week that seemingly came out of nowhere and then could follow it up with another win here and really cement himself as a contender. He's only had 4 multi-win drivers this season. And someone like Michael Reed could be the 5th. Or Rob Rader back there in that 5th spot. Or Richardson in 7th. We've got a couple of names in this top 10 who are looking for their 2nd win of the year.
Richardson, I believe, was a super speedway where he got his victory this year. And why not add a 2nd one? The 8 car has definitely shown and proven that he can get around tracks like this.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And, right now he's starting to show that again. He's up in this lead group. I believe he won Atlanta back in the 2nd race of the season. And then has not had the same speed necessarily outside of those drafting tracks, but has done enough to keep himself eligible in the points here. To be eligible to race for a championship. As you see, Picklesheimer now drop down to the inside, abandoning the 8 and his drafting partner Grant Turner in the 39, who has absolutely used that fast repair because that car looks so much better than it did after that early incident.
Aaron Ward here with the number 39. I wouldn't venture to show the pedal cameras this week. It's a lot of just wide open. But there's a look as he abandons the 8 of Richardson, dives to the inside, and the Hot Wheels themed machine is going to say goodbye. Richardson drops down behind him.
And with that point, the outside lane has completely disappeared. Got to imagine it's a lot of cars who are starting to think about trying to make sure they're at the bottom of the racetrack so they can get onto pit road. Because that is a concern at Daytona. You know, if you're running side by side and you need to come down pit road, with how tightly the draft is for a lot of cars, you may not have that opportunity if you're trapped up near the wall. So everyone now on the apron, getting prepped for a round of green flag pit stops, and this is just the moment where you start making sure not only that what you're setting up for the car is right, you know, making sure it's fuel only or 2 tires or whatever stop you need to make, but also you just need to remind yourself, don't speed on, don't speed off. You speed here almost more than any other track on the circuit because you're coming down from such a high speed, and it's so integral to get on and off with the same group that you pit with so you have that draft support after your stop. And it causes a lot of mental lapses because you're so focused on so many other things compared to a normal pit stop elsewhere.
Everybody single files out here, and it looks like, you know, based off of that, we're going to see pit stops within the next 2 to 3 laps. So based off the numbers, I would say the max you could go is probably 21 laps, and that's for the guys that haven't led any of the lines here. And that's a limited list of drivers. I'd say everybody outside of the top 10, with the exception of Michael Call, who was pushing pretty hard there. Matt Robinson was up towards the front there for a bit. A lot of these guys probably burned a little extra fuel by being up front.
Yeah, and that was certainly the case, I think, for the 89. I think the 7 may have come up with that a little bit as well. And now I think the 27 could be in that situation, although we're close enough to the window where I doubt he pits by himself. This is those moments where in the car, you know, everything looks visually like it's fairly calm, but there's just so much thought and a lot of math happening behind the wheel, trying to figure out, all right, when do I pit, who's coming with me, and when I do get down pit road, will I have enough fuel then to make this a one-stopper to the end, or am I going to need to make a second stop? It does raise a lot of questions, so you're trying to get as far as you can on this stop to ensure you have the opportunity to only have to make one more before the end of this race.
Nobody pouring down this time.
This time, yeah, no, nobody this time around. And, you know, it's about the point where I would expect, you know, with that lap would have been the first real, like, all right, yeah, I expect people to start coming. Well, we'll see if it's in the next lap or two here. I know we kind of keep teasing it, and no one has made the dive yet. But I got to imagine, you know, those fuel cells aren't going to be full for much longer, with given that's been about 20 laps now since they came down pit road.
Gotta thank Dougie Beard for these awesome cameras. The sights and sounds here from Daytona is now they're coming down pit road.
Yeah, Kevin Orlando Jr. amongst them. Couple cars flying in there. Oh, someone overcooked it. They're going to end up in the grass, I think. The black car, I want to say it might have been Justice Murphy who came in way hot, or maybe it was Joe Joya, apologies. I think it was the 7 who may have really sent it in there. Yeah, got a piece of the cone, got a piece of the infield, and had the lock back on the brakes. I wonder if he got caught speeding on pit road.
At the very least, he got an unsafe pit entry.
Yeah, black flag marker for the 7 of Joe Joya. And that's kind of what you're talking about. You know, we know he's had good speed here tonight, but super speedway luck just not on his side. We were talking about this is the place where you need to be really careful with your entrances and exits. Looks like everyone there going to get down to speed. That was most of the rest of the field who just made a stop here on lap 41.
Michael Reed leading them in. Had about 15 cars just come down to pit road. The 9, the fan favorite, down and away, fuel only for the 9. He's going to be all by himself. It looks like the rest of these cars taking at least 4 tires.
Yeah, maybe a lot of 8-second stops makes me think either they were stopping for a little bit more fuel than Burns or we're putting right sides on it. Either way, he gets out there with a huge advantage, and he's going to be isolated when he gets back on the track. The 39 of Grant Turner having some issues leaving pit road. He is going through the grass right now. Don't know what happened to him.
He hit the bumps. He hit the bumps. He was to the left of someone exiting the pits. Watch this. Trying to make a pass on the pit exit, and it backfires.
It backfired big time.
Why you don't do that?
Day that's already been a little bit tough for the 39, putting them behind the 8 ball and the faster pairs is going to get a little bit worse.
There goes the 9, who's going to pass the 11, but he's all by his lonesome here.
Yeah, it's all funny.
Did something happen here to the 9? He's actually being scored in 27th position. Maybe that's why he made that call. He might be going a lap down.
It may be, yeah. Now looking at it, he is scored in 27th. He scored about 47 seconds off of the race lead. I wonder if there was bigger issues for the 9. There comes the rest of the field who are going to try to put him a lap down here. And I think Burns is the last, if he go a lap down, would be the last car, or the first car 1 lap down, so he'd be in the free pass position, but certainly you don't want to leave that to chance if you can help it, especially if you can get tucked in with this draft pack here.
I can confirm, sort of, that he was trying to come to pit road, missed the entry, and went back out on the track, so he came down the second time around and lost a ton of ground.
Yeah, that'll do it, and they're going to go on by the 9. So Michael Reed, after pit stops are said and done, are going to cycle back to the front. Travis Gilbert, Grant Thorpe, Dylan Picklesheimer, Brandon Richardson. Your top 5, and there's about 2 or 3 more cars in this lead pack. And then it's about a second back to Matt Robinson and a second group of about 7-8 cars. This field really got splintered up. As you see there, Kevin Orlando Jr. is leading a third group a little further back. They're about 4 seconds off the race leader.
It's single file. I mean, be considerate of each other. There's no reason right now to lose ground to that second pack behind you. I mean, you're probably, 15 cars strong right now. No reason to push the issue and try to run each other for positions. You have Caleb Gilbert, Kevin Orlando back in 15th, 16th spot. And this time by, they're almost 0.3 of a second faster running single file. So there's no reason, if you're up here, to do anything that you're not doing right now. Just run single file, push the guy in front of you, wait till there's 10 to go, then start racing each other.
Yeah, right now, if you're Caleb Gilbert or anyone else in this pack, about the 7-8 cars of them, more importantly than anything right now, you just need to reel in the tail end of that group. It's about 2 seconds from Caleb Gilbert to the car in front of him right now. Once you reel them in, you're a part of that draft group, then you can start doing whatever you want because you're a part of the mix at that point. But until you catch them, no one in this second group can afford to go too wide because that will cost them time for that lead pack, and certainly no one here is going to be wanting to just taxi around stuck in 15th when if they all work together for a minute, they can get up into the mix, and then it's a free-for-all trying to go for the race win. .24 on the inside now.
Caleb Gilbert shuffled out of line. Not sure what happened there. Maybe just decided that he wasn't a good enough lead car and they were losing ground. So he's going to shuffle back behind the 27 of Orlando, back to 21st. And that'll lose him even more time. When you have a transition like that, it doesn't look like much, but he pops out of line, and it takes about a tenth or two of a second for that second car to get a pusher. So the 24 of Alves now getting shoved by the 14 of Bennett. That lost them almost half a second the last time by.
Yeah, and that's tough. Part of me wonders if they're doing it for a fuel situation where no one's burning up their fuel cell that much. But right now, yeah, every so often you'll see a car poke their head out, Bennett or Erhardt, but no one able really to do anything with it. So they just get back in the line here, push to the 24. And, they've got an uphill sled if they're going to try to catch up to this lead pack. The only thing working for them is that more realistically, we will for sure see two wide in this lead group at some point. When? Couldn't tell you, but more realistic as you see Michael Reed continuing to lead here at the front of this field. And he's starting to put together a pretty healthy amount of laps led here tonight.
Check in with your stage one winner running in the 9th position right now, just behind the lap down machine. Jeremy Burns, Matt Robinson came to play today. And the drivers that are on that cut line will continue to look through this field. You go back to the 15 of Trevor Keith running in 12th. He's in a decent situation. But you were asking, Alex, when do these guys start racing one another? I think it's after the next set of green flag pit stops. If we make it to that point, because they're absolutely going to have to come down one more time. There's still 30 laps left in this race. After they come back out on the racetrack, as long as you got on and off pit road okay, and you stuck with a partner, that's when you're going to start to see guys like Trevor Keith, Justice Murphy, and probably Dakota Floyd start pushing the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been going back, and you mentioned Matt Robinson for a little bit there, and I think it is absolutely worth highlighting that this guy is, points-wise at least this year, been one of the best super speedway racers in the Chapman Cup Series. He has had 3 of the 4 super speedway races. He put up 37 or more points. And for context, you get 40 for a win, 35 for second, plus some stage points going 10-1. So, in the top 10 for the stages and the race results for the first Daytona race, the first Atlanta race, and the first Dega race. And then had an okay showing at the second Atlanta event. And with how chaotic super speedways can be, to have someone string together that string of results, I think is really telling. And I think something to keep an eye on here is the 11 is a part of this lead pack here with 30 to go.
It gives me hope, Alex, that super speedways aren't as bad as they may seem. I know in my personal experience, I wish Atlanta was still Atlanta. I just can't stand, being on top of another driver for lap after lap. You can't escape. The guy that you maybe push to the lead leaves you out to dry. You have an experience where you get shuffled out. You fall from first back to 20th. And I know how to push people. And that's what's so infuriating. I will push a guy until my hands fall off. But it just seems like once I get them up there to the lead, they forget my name.
That's certainly the way it goes, especially as you get later in the run. You better hope that the loyalty you forged working together early on in the race is going to stand for something, because a lot of times it's easier to bail. Oh boy, Michael Reed getting all he can handle right now from Travis Gilbert, was sliding left and right going into turn 1. And for as much as we were just talking about Matt Robinson having some great super speedway results, the other side of that coin is your current race leader, Michael Reed, who's season high for points at a super speedway event this season is 10. 3 single-digit results followed a 10-point effort at the first Daytona race this year. So the 91 has had some rotten luck when it comes to these super speedways this year.
Well, that's okay. He got his win last week at Richmond. He's just out here chalking up laps and showing everybody that, hey, I'm a playoff driver. You're going to have to contend with me. And some of the biggest races of the season with the Southern 500. And if you're watching regular NASCAR, you know that this playoff format is all about the fanfare. So we go on to Darlington for the very first race of the playoffs, both in real life and here in Racing Revolution, the Chapman Cup Series. That's where I think Michael Reed will come back and say, hey, Richmond wasn't a fluke. I should have been up here way sooner in the 23 races we've been to. Finally got it done, put it all together. Now I think Michael Reed's going to be a contender with that confidence boost.
No kidding, especially because I look at the tracks that are coming up, and I think they're ones that are going to kind of fall into his wheelhouse here. Because you got Darlington next week, and then you have Gateway the week after that, which, much like Richmond, not a particularly big track, fairly flat banking. Really got to keep an eye on how you enter and exit your corners. I think the 91 is in for potentially a couple of good races here in a row. As we jump on board with the 45 of Tyler Harrison, one of the couple drivers who have clinched their way in on points this season, but still looking for that elusive first win of the season.
And so we were talking to Nick Alves pre-race, and the math was mathing, okay? So basically, Harrison and Floyd, they're clinched in on points. They just have to show up and finish the race. Erhardt is also in that boat, but then it's Orlando Robinson, Gilbert, Keith, and Murphy that can point their way in. Everybody from 19th down to 25th has to win this race. And so going off of those points, we can display that up on the screen right now. It is very, very complicated to try to keep track of all this after Richmond. But you got Caleb Gilbert and Trevor Keith right there on that mark of 8 points. Trevor Keith, very, very close. I think he's had at least a stage win or a podium finish in the last 4 weeks. He has come to race. He knows what's at stake. And then you have like Matthew Robinson, who just won the stage. Kevin Orlando, who's maintained this top 10 for a lot of the night. So many guys out here that are just back and forth. And we still don't know, with 20, 30 laps to go, who's got the best opportunity.
I really don't. The only thing I can say at the moment is that if results hold, Robinson should be in good shape with that stage win, then follow up with a top 10 result should he finish where he's running, which is currently 9th. Trevor Keith, though, going to need some help, I think, as he's trying to track down Kevin Orlando and Caleb Gilbert. But Caleb Gilbert, we very much know, much like Orlando Jr. at the moment, caught in that second pack that's falling back a little bit from this lead group. So as far as the points are concerned, it is really tight right now. The deficit between Trevor Keith and Caleb Gilbert after the stage, I believe, was 6 points. But there is also drop weeks in play, so that is something to keep an eye on. All of these points very unofficial until they officially put it through the machine. We jump on board here with Justice Murphy in the 12. And man, he's chasing is the other car who is with him on the outside looking in this point situation. Trevor Keith, Justice Murphy running 12th and 13th right now. Both of these guys need a lot more points if they're going to make that jump over either Caleb Gilbert or Kevin Orlando at the moment.
And Jeremy Burns' #1 fan is in the chat right now. Your eyes do not deceive you. A mistake there on pit road, and if you're a Jeremy Burns fan, it's probably not what you wanted to see. But you can rest assured that the 9 car is in the playoffs, and he will have the biggest point bonus going in to week #1 at Darlington. He's just cruising around right now, hoping that a yellow flag comes out. He can get back on the lead lap. There's only 3 cars that aren't on the lead lap. Christopher Schaefer, who experienced a ton of damage, and the yellow did not come out. And Joe Joya, who was in a situation there, got a black flag during those green flag pit stops, ended up having to come back down pit road. So not only did he lose time getting to his pit box, but then he lost more time coming back around the racetrack to serve his stop-and-go penalty.
Yeah, and that really has been a frustrating one for the 7 tonight, I'm sure. As you see, he's at the tail end of this lead group, but he is 2 laps down.
He led some laps. I mean, that's what a contrast, you know?
Yeah, it's been just one of those nights, you know, you have everything under control till you suddenly don't, and now not only are you behind the 8 ball, but now being multiple laps down, you can basically kiss any chance of a win here goodbye, barring a ton of cautions in these final 20 laps or so. Right now, though, stuck in the 29th position, down 2 laps. As we jump back a little bit in the field, this is Nick Alves, who's still leading this second group, running in the 15th position, but they have completely lost the leaders here. At one point, they were 2 seconds back. Now they're about 6 seconds back at the tail end of that lead pack.
Yeah, that gap continues to grow. They evened it out a little bit here this last time by, but I mean, it's even. So they're not gaining anything. And every other lap, they're losing a tenth here or there. At one point, they were losing half a second. When they transitioned, we talked about that just a moment ago. The 54 of Caleb Gilbert fell back and let someone else lead this group, and they lost half a second. And that is an eternity at Daytona.
Really is, especially when you're already out of the draft, because the moment you lose that, you're going to be in a tough shape. It looks like we have some people pitting here.
Here we go.
This is the final round of pit stops. You can make it from here on fuel, assuming you fill it up full. And it looks like they're all going to try to make their stop here with that lead group, try to get caught back into the mix a little bit. And then Caleb Gilbert and Michael Bennett going to try a little bit of a different strategy here, but most of the field just made their stop on pit road. Oh,
Linz missed it bad. He has to back up. And the 10 of Kyle Stewart gets speeding on the entry of pit road.
Just more issues, more mistakes here on pit road, and that's what you were saying earlier. You know, while it's not particularly hard to get on or off of pit road, with the urgency and the stress of trying to stay with that lead pack, you know, you just make mistakes because there's so much more on your mind than a normal pit stop. And it bites the 10 there, but bit the 66 as well. So now Michael Carl up front. We got about a little 7-car group who I believe still need to make their stops.
There's Carter Lenz on the inside. This is down the backstretch. The 8 got the victory in Atlanta. He's going to get passed by now as they cycle through these pit stops. The 89 of Michael Call is going to lead him down this time by.
And here they go, flying in here down pit road. Everyone fanning out, trying to find their spot. Trevor Keith had a lot of issues getting that car slowed down. It was shaking all over the place. I think he got it slowed down in time, though, as this pack of 7 going to close out this pit cycle.
So this
where is everyone going to cycle out?
This is the question now, is where does the 91 of Michael Reed end up? He is now coming out of 3 and 4. I think they lost a little bit of ground. I think that this third group got on and off pit road a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think Michael Reed just lost a little bit of that help that he had. They pull up here with Johnston. I want to say that's the 9 of Burns in front of him.
It was 34.3 down the lane.
54 of
Reed
Caleb
took
Gilbert.
4 tires. He lost a ton of ground.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about that call necessarily. Daytona, not one where you necessarily need tires. As now Rob Rader going to go past Matt Robinson. He's got Kyle Stewart pushing him. Stewart a lap down from that pit road speeding penalty. But he's going to shove the 4-time champ up for the lead here. It's now 16 to go at the line. Picklesheimer, the 3rd car in this lane, is the 2nd car in the standings right now. So it's the 53, the 35, and the 11, because you also have Trevor Erhardt in this mix, who's also not on the lead lane.
Erhardt getting a little help here from the 11 of Robinson. Picklesheimer's going to drive up to the top as well.
And they've just left Rob Rader and Kyle Stewart out the dry. There is no draft support on the inside lane. I'll be honest, I'm shocked the 53 didn't slide up in front of him.
This is interesting here for Picklesheimer in this scenario. Can you confirm, though, that the 35 is in the top 25 in points? That's the part here I don't
yes,
think
he
that,
is. He is 19th.
Okay, so he needs to win this race.
Oh, sorry, 21st. He's 21st, but he is
okay.
still eligible if he were to win this thing. But now he gets shuffled out to the bottom. So now Matt Robinson is using Trevor Erhardt as a bit of a pick here. He's got the lead. Trevor Erhardt, the last car on the lead lap, by about a tenth of a second from going a lap down, because he is that close to race leader Matt Robinson.
And mistakes down pit road for Grant Turner as well. He is now a lap down in the 39 machine.
And now things are starting to get a little racy again, Bradley. Everyone knows that there's no more stops on pit road. People are a little bit more willing to try to play around with 2-3 lanes here.
This is the moment of the race where if you could find an advantage, take it. And Matt Robinson knew that the 41 is fast. He just had a bad stop, and he could use him to his advantage. He could push this 41 car and possibly take away the stage win on top. With the race win, that would be perfect Daytona, but we know it's far from over as we approach that 10 to go mark.
Here we go to the stripe. Matt Robinson's going to have some company here, though. Michael Call, Daniel Holloway. Call's got that outside lane fired up again. First time we've really seen it in about the past 20, 25 laps or so. And they've got a good bit of support, a mix of cars on the lead lap and one lap down, all trying to churn forward. The 89, door-to-door with Holloway for second, just off the back bumper of Robinson. Now here they go. Michael Call's got the lead. Robinson, because he's behind Erhardt, is moving out of the his highway.
What's going on, Van Drake TV? Final race of the regular season. We're coming up on 10 laps left. We got a new winner just a week ago with the 91 of Michael Reed. Do we find another new victor? 35 of Dylan Picklesheimer, one of those cars that needs to win this race.
Only one of them, however, not to be outdone. Another one of them is the car right in front of them right now. Michael Call came in for tonight 20th in points, Picklesheimer 21st. Both of these guys are in a position where if they win, they'd make it in. And they are running first and second right now. They got Travis Gilbert behind them. And right now, the inside lane, they're keeping even with the 89 of Michael Call. However, it's not a side-by-side battle for the lead because Trevor Erhardt is just trying to fight to stay on the lead lap here, which is putting the leader of that lane of the lead lap cars, Matt Robinson, about another car length behind. This pack is now Picklesheimer going to shoot the 89 out. They're both clear. Do they drop down or do they stay high? We know that 22 has also been wicked fast tonight.
I would stay high right now. If you've got the 22 of Travis Gilbert behind you, you have to keep him out. You cannot allow him. If you're in a must-win situation, you cannot allow the 22 to find it. But the 35 of Picklesheimer says, I'm going to go to the bottom right now in front of the 41 of Trevor Erhardt. He will lead a lap, but I don't think this is the race-winning move. I don't think I want to be in this situation. You've got a guy to your outside now that has to win as well, and the 22 has nothing to lose here. He'll push him up.
The 35 of Dylan Picklesheimer, as we've got 10 laps to go here from the World Center of Racing, finds himself in the prime position. Robinson, 2 cars back in the inside lane. He's currently scored second. Holloway and Call both need a win here tonight. They run third and fourth. As they thought about, Travis Gilbert thought about sliding in there to the inside. Didn't quite work out, but right now, Dylan Picklesheimer is just getting the back bumper absolutely tattooed by the 41. He is shoving him all the way around this racetrack.
Dylan Picklesheimer, a driver that we've mentioned a lot here on V-Speed recently. In a must-win scenario with a massive lead. The outside seems to have fallen apart for the time being, but there's cars around that 5th and 6th position that are also in a scenario where a win would just guarantee they're in. Trevor Keith is clear to the outside for a moment, but now he's trapped.
See the 15 currently scored in 6th. He's a driver who could potentially point his way in here. However, a new winner would certainly make that far more difficult, and that's the circumstances right now, as Picklesheimer has the advantage. There's the onboard with the 15. You can see what it's like. You can see how active his eyes are right now, trying to get a sense of who's in front of him, who's around him, and the general speed of everybody, because the thing with Daytona, man, these lines accordion so fast, and you got to be keeping your head on a swivel.
That's all Picklesheimer moved to the outside. Here comes the 41 now to kind of change that. Man, it just shuffled around. The 35 now getting a push from the 11. This has changed so much in just a lap. Who's going to work with who?
Yeah, and the fact that Trevor Erhardt's still in the mix here is a huge wild card, because he's just trying to stay on the lead lap while everyone around him is not only fighting for the race win, but trying to fight for their last opportunity to make the postseason, in the cases for most of the guys in the top 5 right now. And it looks like they may be coming up on some more lap traffic here. That's Circovich and Courgette just in front of them. They'll probably catch him in the middle of 3 and 4 here.
Oh, yeah, they can catch him at the entry at 3. Here they are. Man, the closing speed so fast here at Daytona. And that's going to break up this inside line a little bit. You can see the 15 could benefit from this. If I was Trevor Keith right now, I would slide right up behind Cole. It's going to close up quickly. And now Circovich and Berube are going to put him in a weird spot. 15, 3 wide across the tri-oval.
From Dakota Floyd to drop down to the inside. 3 wide here, 6 laps to go. Matt Robinson leading from the middle of 3 lanes. Picklesheimer down low, nobody helping Michael Carl up top. The 89 starting to go the wrong direction here as the 11 pulls out to the advantage.
The 11 of Matt Robinson benefits the most. Picklesheimer falls back. You can see the 53 of Rob Rader drop in behind the 12 of Justice Murphy. We're back to 2 by 2, but it's not going to last long. 11 and 21 to the bottom.
Yeah, and that almost got ugly. 21 was basically pushing the 11 as they made that move. Picklesheimer now going to flip it to the high side. Here we go, 5 laps to go. Everybody is going for it. All bets are off at this point. Robinson's got the advantage over Holloway and Picklesheimer. Each of the cars in the top 3 not locked into the playoffs yet. A win would be absolutely critical for their season. Holloway now going to churn up the second. Does he make a move here to the outside? Looks like he's going to push.
Here's the 57 of Dakota Floyd, winless this season. He's pointed his way in. The 35 of Picklesheimer trapping him down on the inside. And a lot of the moves that happen here at Daytona, they happen on the last lap. When is the right time? We've seen it out of 3 and 4. We've seen it on the backstretch. But it's usually when that white flag comes out that you see that driver that made the race-winning move. It's very rare that the leader on the white flag wins the race.
Yeah, right now Matt Robinson trying to prove that wrong. We know that he's got the skills here on these drafting style tracks. This is a tall order though, because you know nobody is going to be giving him an inch here if they can help it. Here comes Picklesheimer. Big push from the 22. Justice Murphy leading a third lane here. He comes to the outside.
3 wide into 3 and 4. Rob Rader gives him more of a shove than he wants.
Oh, Schaefer's around.
23's around. Caution is out.
Oh, man.
And we're going to overtime. The regular season wasn't long enough.
No, it wasn't. We're going to get a couple extra laps here. And that started, I think, with that third lane getting completely out of sort. I want to say the 53 was pushing the 12 in the corner, and just did not work out for either of them. And it accordioned back to Christopher Schaefer.
Oh, John Fike, he was trying to avoid it. And that wasn't really Schaefer's fault, but he saw the 12 and the 53 get bobbled around there. And so he drives down low to try to avoid this. Watch right here. He thinks it's happening. And we're go back here. I'm trying to get a better angle of this. We'll back this up one more time. Watch going into the corner. The 12's on the right-hand side of the track here into 3. You're going to see him get really sideways. Raider pushes up the track. They bobble around it, and the 23 is just trying to avoid that.
Oh,
wow, that was a
Turner
39.
hard hit. Oh, man. Grant, I didn't even see that the first time. Grant Turner absolutely hammered that outside wall. You may as well be calling him the lead track off of Sherry Moore's new album, Beyblade, because that guy was just spinning around 5-6 times. That's a dizzying experience.
It's not the same without the flame. And there it is.
Not the same without your front bumper or your engine intact either, man.
Yeah.
Holy. It's been a tough night for Grant Turner. That's an understatement.
So we're going to extend this race. We have plenty of racing left to be done. We got to rack it back up into overtime. The World Center of Racing. We started the season here. We're going to extend the season here for the regular, and we're going to go Chapman Cup Series overtime right after this.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
We're back here live from Daytona. If it wasn't enough of overtime is going to take place, we have 2 green-white checkers available. This race wasn't long enough for 80 laps, and now it's a matter of Matt Robinson, Daniel Holloway, Dylan Picklesheimer, Dakota Floyd, Travis Gilbert. And you were talking to me there just a moment ago before we go green. How many drivers in the top 10 are in a must-win situation?
would say you could say 5 minimum, although realistically 7, because the two guys who could point their way in are not in the position where the points would carry them just yet. And here we go, green-white checkered attempt number 1 in the air. Matt Robinson going to try to lead him down and pick up race win 1 on the season if he can hold on to it here. That's a tall order. There's a lot of cars charging down.
Dylan Picklesheimer immediately gets connected to that rear bumper. The 57 of Dakota Floyd, who's also winless this season. Third lane trying to develop deep in the pack. Look at them shuffle around as they try to find a partner. Will we make it? No, the 91's into the grass.
Michael Reed goes spinning into the inside wall. And because he's out of the racing line, they're going to let this thing stay green. Picklesheimer and Robinson door-to-door off turn number 4. White flag coming out this time by.
2 must-win drivers on the outside line. One more time, presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. It's Picklesheimer and Michael Cole who need to win this race. Does the 89 leave him out to dry, or will he continue to push that body armor? 54.
Oh, Caleb Gilbert's around.
Big wreck.
That's
going to
be huge points implications.
That's back
More
there
cars
with Harrison's involved. 3 wide.
And now it's 3 wide for the lead. Robinson, Picklesheimer, Carl up toward the wall. He doesn't have any help, though. Here come the middle 2 lanes. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Robinson down low. He's got a 1-car length advantage. Here comes Dakota Floyd with a chance.
Oh, heavy contact down the back stretch, or out of 4. 15 in the wall, and it's Matt Robinson keeping his statistics alive. Matt Robinson is going to get the victory at Daytona.
And Dylan Picklesheimer, who needed a win to get in, is going to come up 1 spot short. Dakota Floyd, or actually
wow.
two spots.
2
yeah,
spots.
7 hundredths. Sorry, 7 hundredths.
It was less than a 1/10 of a second for the top 3 across the line.
Matt Robinson wins the stage, wins the race. Tell you what, super speedway racing can be a bit of a wild card, but this year in particular, I think the 11's figured something out, man. He has been wicked fast and finally is getting rewarded here. Able to go to victory lane for the first time this season in a race where he needed to, execute to make sure he made the postseason, and he did everything he needed to and then some.
How about it for Matt Robinson? Dylan Picklesheimer in 3rd, and another podium finish for Dakota Floyd going into the postseason. Playoff time has begun, and Matt Robinson becomes the 11th different winner this season.
And, I'm going to be doing some quick math here just to see how these points are going to be shaken out, because Caleb Gilbert wrecked early on that last lap. He's being scored in the 20th position, which could be detrimental to his chance of making the postseason, given that Kevin Orlando, Trevor Keith, and Justice Murphy all finished notably at least 9 places ahead of him.
We're going to get a quick word here with your victor of this race in just a moment's time as he continues to burn it down here on the front stretch. Matt Robinson just in full celebration mode right now. But statistically, I know you've worked with the statistician here, the statistician of V-Speed, Morgan Cook. But you went through all of these points, all these numbers, all these finishes through the season, and the 11 really looked the best in this field.
Yeah, he really did. I think it's awesome for him that he's finally rewarded with that It's so hard to be consistent at super speedways just with the nature of the beast. He's found a way to do that this year, and he's going to be able to celebrate it in victory lane. And no better way, I think, to cap off the regular season for him than to win and guarantee his spot to fight for a championship this year for the Chapman Cup Series.
We have got our way down to victory lane with our race winner, Matt Robinson. keeping the streak alive. Statistically, you are one of the best drivers at these super speedways, and now you come home with a victory, and you become our 11th different winner this season.
Oh my God. It has been such a long time coming. It feels so good.
Well, let's take it through those final laps. Apparently, the length of the regular season wasn't enough. You guys had to extend it about 6 more miles here. But you come into this race starting in 6th spot. You led 18 laps, but it wasn't easy. We had 2 green flag pit stop scenarios where it could have all went to the wayside.
So our group, we were good. God, we planned it out from the get-go. I mean, we were good all the way through the way we were doing our green flag pit stops. The second to last caution kind of threw a wrench and brought everybody back. Had not, it would have been just 12 of us going for the win. And I mean, who knows at that point? It could have been anybody.
Well, you also got another scenario here. You are now officially locked into the playoffs. I know that based off points, it was kind of one of the scenarios where the 11 car was looking pretty good coming into this week, but now it's one of those where you don't have to worry.
Yeah. I mean, so the way the stage worked is I got 10 points there, and the 2 that I was battling didn't get any. So I knew that I gained 10 points on the 2 that would have or tied with me. So I knew that I was going into a really good situation going into this last, whatever it is, 80 laps or 60 laps. And it was a total team effort. I mean, my guys worked so hard tonight between all of us, Rolling Thunder Racing and Lightning Fast Motorsports. And Michael Call, I mean, he was killer for us as well. It was just a really, really good team effort.
So on top of that, Matt, you have Darlington next week. What can we expect from the Allo Barbershop number 11 when we go to the Southern race?
Darlington's going to be a toss-up this year. I mean, with the new tire model and everything like that, we're not really sure what we're going to go into, right? I mean, tires could wear off way easier than they did before, which throws a wrench, especially at Darlington, because that track eats right fronts, no matter what you do, really. So I don't know. I'm thinking top 10, hopefully. Can't put myself up there too high, not knowing what's going to happen.
Well, you join a list of drivers with Jeremy Burns, Travis Gilbert, Alex Forget, Carter Lenz, Kyle Diaz, Justin Ritchie. You have Nick Alves, Brandon Richardson, Rob Rader, Michael Reed, and now Matt Robinson. Congratulations on the capping off the regular season. We'll see you in 1 week's time. Before we let you go, Matt, who put this car on the racetrack?
Shout out my parents. They watch every single week. My grandmother, who turns 102 in a month, and my wife, my kids. Yeah, 102. It's a miracle. Again, my team, my 2 teams, everybody. V-Speed. I don't even know what to say right now. Just everybody with the entire league. Like, it's been 3 years coming now, and it's a huge relief to get the first one.
Matt Robinson, we'll see you in 1 week's time, September 3rd. Until then, buddy.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Post-race coverage continues after this. We're going to get those final race results, and hopefully we can find some stats on those points. We have a lot of toss-up here. There was a lot of drivers that got wrecked there with the 45 of Harrison getting kind of moved out of the way. He ends up finishing outside of the top 10. You had Trevor Keith, who ends up finishing 11th. Justice Murphy ahead of him. Kevin Orlando gets a top 10 and 6th. Michael Call was in a must-win situation, but man, a lot changed there in just a 2 mile span of time. So we're going to round up all of that information. Stay with us. We've got it all. More post-race coverage at the World Center of Racing to wrap up the regular season. Chapman Cup Series coming back right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our post-race coverage, where it was a slippery slope on these final laps, a green, white, checkered, and we talked to your race winner and stage winner. Race recap up on the top of your screen. But we're going to talk to the rest of our top three while we try to figure out the rest of these points. It was 26 lead changes and 3 cautions where Matt Robinson not only gets stage 1 victory, but gets the race victory and points his way in, guarantees his way in, and becomes the 11th different winner of the regular season. It's playoff time. We still have some drivers to talk to in this post-race coverage. Alex Gagnon has caught up with your second place finisher. It's another podium finish for Dakota Floyd.
Hey there, Dakota. You got a copy?
I sure do.
I'll tell you what. In the vacuum, started second, finished second, led 1 lap. People would be mistaken to think you'd had a pretty run-of-the-mill day. But I'd imagine it was anything but getting shuffled around with the nature of super speedway racing. How was it out there today running Daytona?
I think for the majority of it, it was pretty tame. I was kind of at the tail end of a couple of different packs, saving fuel. Unintentionally, I just had nowhere to go, really, but I ended up saving a bunch of fuel, was able to pit last with that last group of guys there, and actually ended up cycling us really well. So come to that last section of the race, that last stage there, we were in a really, really good spot, running the bottom in the top 5 for most of it, and then we got the late yellow, and surprisingly enough, I actually came home in one piece. I usually get junked at the end of these things, so I'm more than happy with the second place finish here.
Well, speaking of the finish, it was you, Dylan Picklesheimer, and of course Matt Robinson all duking it out for the race win. Was there anything you could have done there to try to make a move around the 11? Or, I mean, it looked like you got shot out of a cannon there on that last lap to even get up there, and you and the 11 really took off.
Yeah, I think coming out of 4, I had a chance to maybe get in front of Picklesheimer and see if he would push me up there, but I think it was just a little too late of a reaction on my part. So I wasn't really worth junking everybody to try to win a race when we were already really good on points. So I didn't want to ruin anyone's race by making a really silly decision at the end. So I tried to open up the bottom, and he closed it off smart enough, and I couldn't go below the yellow line. So late move on my part, just like I said, happy to bring it to the end there.
Well, that you did, and you mentioned that you were good on points. That is indeed the case. One of the 5 drivers this season who will be pointing their way into the postseason. I believe actually you'll have the most points of anyone who pointed their way in for the postseason. How do you feel for the tracks coming up? Most notably, Darlington next week to kick off the playoffs.
Darlington, I feel fairly confident at. I usually have pretty decent finishes there, so I'm fairly happy to start the playoffs there. And Gateway, I love Gateway a lot. I'm hoping to either go for a win or a podium there. And Bristol has been unkind to me recently, so maybe just come home with a clean car there. But I think round of 16 is looking really good for me to progress on to the round of 12.
And we're excited to see what you bring to it. Darlington should be quite the duel, but I feel like we've had the opportunity to talk to you a lot in recent weeks up here in the booth after these races, which has been a lot of fun. And hopefully that continues into the postseason. Dakota, anyone you'd like to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, definitely always got to shout out the team. I know they kind of got on the back foot of strategy there towards the end, so I know Kyle, we were trying to hunt for Kyle to get up there up front, but he was kind of on the back foot with a lot of the stuff that had happened, so I hate to see that for him, but he's a trooper. I know he'll stick out the rest of the season no matter what, and all those guys will. So looking forward to racing the postseason, especially with Richie, and see what we both can do there. And thanks to everyone in the league. It was a pretty clean race. Everyone raced me pretty respectfully tonight, so can't ask for much more than that at a super speedway. And shout out to you guys in V-Speed giving us awesome broadcast to watch. Always fun to go back and watch. And thank you to Chapman Environmental and all the sponsors that help this show go. Can't appreciate you guys enough. And thank you to everyone that supports me every week.
All right, well, Dakota, thank you so much for dropping by. Congrats on yet another podium finish this season. And we will catch you next week at the track Too Tough to Tame.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
And that was runner-up finisher Dakota Floyd in that number 57 machine, who brought it home P2 and finished just ahead of our third-place driver, who's joining us now, the driver of the 35, Dylan Picklesheimer. Dylan, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. You got me?
Yep, we gotcha. And tell you what, man, that number 35 machine was wicked fast tonight. Led a bunch of laps, was up front basically all evening long, shuffling around that top 5. What was it like out there tonight running Daytona, knowing that you had clean air on the nose of that car a good bit of the night?
It was fun, man. I love Daytona. I usually don't run good at Daytona in this league just because there's so many good teams out there. But I don't know what it's been, but this year I've just been better. So I kept it up front, worked with Travis there for a little bit, and we were pitting together and stuff, and just tried to get it done at the end. But I got beat by teammates. That happens at Daytona though.
Yeah, it certainly does. And, to that point, we've obviously asked Matt and we've asked Dakota about it. I want to hear your take on it. That final lap coming off of turn 4, it's really just the 3 of you guys. Was there anything you could have done there to try to get up alongside the 11, or were you just too far back trying to get up to that point?
Coming out of 4, I was too far back, and the 21 wasn't pushing me, so I was just lost in no man's land. But I survived the wreck. I didn't know that 89 was on their team. Matt told me, so I kind of I like Michael Call to death, but the last person I want behind me on the last lap was Michael Call because I knew he was gonna take it 3 wide. But if he would have just waited till 3, I would have cleared the 11 going into 3. But they're teammates, so now it makes sense. So we just live and learn and keep moving forward. I almost got into the playoffs, but just missed out.
Yeah, just missed out. But to your point, it was a really good day for you, and still 10 more races to go out there and try to pick up that first win of the season, especially after a good run like tonight. Dylan, anyone you'd like to shout out here on the podium finish?
I want to shout out my teammates at Best of Enemies, Chris Schaefer and Grant Turner. He sponsored the race tonight, Hot Wheels, baby. I want to shout out you two up there in the booth. And then I want to shout out the admins. Y'all put on a good league. I'm excited to go watch this broadcast later. I want to shout out my wife, of course. And then, that's about it. Appreciate it.
All righty, Dylan, thank you so much for dropping by. Appreciate you joining us in the booth, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to talk to you again real soon.
Yep, have a good one.
That was third place finisher here tonight, Dylan Picklesheimer. Only 7/100ths from potentially making this year's postseason, but instead it's going to come up just 2 spots short and less than a car length. And with that, Bradley, I want to say it's just time for us to start talking results and potentially our playoff picture, which is on your screen now. And, we were trying to keep an eye on those points, and look how close it got at the end with the playoff picture. Trevor Keith drives his way in to the postseason, 4 points clear of Caleb Gilbert. Both of those two guys, Trevor Keith and Caleb Gilbert, wrecked on the final lap. The difference being Caleb Gilbert got wrecked in turn 2. Half the field was able to get on by. Trevor Keith got wrecked off of 4. And, the 11th versus 20th place finish. Yeah. And that was the difference. It was literally half a lap. And that was it. And Justice Murphy, who put together a phenomenal drive here tonight, top 10 in both the stage and the race, closed that gap up significantly, is also just going to come up 4 points short. So the drivers pointing their way in with our 11 winners: Dakota Floyd, Tyler Harrison, Trevor Erhardt, Kevin Orlando Jr., and Trevor Keith. So those 16 names you see, 1 to 16, those will be the 16 drivers who will have qualified for this year's playoffs and will be fighting for this year's Chapman Cup Series championship.
Yep, and good on Trevor Keith for being able to point his way in. Look how worrisome he was all season long for a must-win situation, and he does it by 4 points. And then you look at Kevin Orlando, 16 points up, finishing in 6th. It was a stellar day for these guys, but it was also the mixed emotions for Caleb Gilbert. Justice Murphy probably not happy about that last lap, and you go back to Michael Call, who was in a real good situation for a must-win. He ends up in a top 5 situation there to end this race, but it was a close one all the way through, and we'll take you through those final race results here. Let's go through our final running order to finish out the regular season. Again, it was 20-plus lead changes. Matt Robinson is going to be the victor and the stage winner. Dakota Floyd with Dylan Pickelsheimer, we talked to those guys. Nick Alves with a top 5 finish. Good on him. 24 car bringing it home in 4th. Michael Call in 5th. Kevin Orlando points his way in. Travis Gilbert, he's locked in. Justice Murphy just shy of it. Rob Rader with a win this season. And Parker Johnston outside looking in for these final 10.
Going back to 11th here, it is Trevor Keith, who did just enough to qualify for this year's playoffs. He'll finish just ahead of Michael Bennett. Carter Linz will finish 13th. Tyler Harrison and Daniel Holloway will be your top 15. John Fike, Trevor Erhardt, Brandon Richardson, Justin Ritchie, and Caleb Gilbert will finish in that 20th position, just a little too far back to make the playoffs this year.
Michael Reed, thank goodness he got that win at Richmond. He's going to finish 21st. He went through the grass down the backstretch. Grant Thorpe finishes in 22nd after qualifying on the pole. Then you have Kyle Stewart, who got a bad end of the deal there. Got wrecked without being able to recover. Jacob Sirkovich, Alex Forget-Berube, 1 lap down. Jeremy Burns never could recover his race, but he has those 9 wins. Joe Joya led some laps. He finishes 27th. Grant Turner, the sponsor of the race tonight, finishing in 28th. Then it's Christopher Schaefer, Kyle Diaz, rounding out your field. Well, that's going to do it for the regular season here, Alex, but we have more racing left to be done. Man, what a finale that we had here for the regular season. What do we have to look forward to very soon?
Well, coming up next, we have got Darlington. The Lady in Black will be kicking off our first of 3 races in the round of 16, where we take the 16 drivers who just qualified for the playoffs, and after those 3 races, they'll trim down to the top remaining 12. Those are those names on your screen. Darlington next week, 8:30 p.m. right here on V-Speed. You won't want to miss it. If you haven't subscribed already, you better do it, because this is where things are going to ratchet up a whole nother level of intensity. And one last thing before I forget about it. I do want to give a shout out to Michael Call. I know he didn't make the playoffs this year, but the past couple weeks, that 89 has been wicked fast. I mean, he was right in the mix to win last week at Richmond, right in the mix to win here again tonight. I know he didn't make it, but I just wanted to, for the 89, I just wanted to say, hey, I see you. I see how fast you've been the past couple weeks, and I would not be surprised to see him potentially be a bit of a spoiler here in the next couple weeks.
Couldn't agree more. Again, you can catch that at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on V-Speed. We have all season long here. It all boiled down to Daytona, where we added our 11th winner. Congratulations to Matt Robinson and all of the final 16 going into Darlington. We'll catch you here live on V-Speed. For Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and Logan Threlkeld, my co-commentator Alex Gagnon, and our camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Daytona. It's playoff time here for Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series. Stay tracking, everybody.